Awesome. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in today. And, this is just one of the most exciting times for me of the year. It's where we think about what we want to change in our lives and what we want to accomplish in our lives, and just understanding and believing that really anything is possible. And once we know what we want, there's a process to give ourselves the best chance to accomplish that. So, what I'm going to walk you through today, it's a goals workshop. And I think through this process, we're all going to come up with some ideas I'm going to share. I went through the same thing years ago, and I was just looking back through an old notebook from like 2014 and just seeing some of the things that have happened, right? And so it's just exciting time. So the first thing is to just realize that you guys have already done a lot in your life, right? We've all accomplished things. So over these first couple minutes, I want you just to make a list of 5 things. And for some of you, this might take 1 minute. For some of you, it might take 2 or 3 minutes. Make a list of 5 things that you've already accomplished and that you're proud of, right? So it doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's important to you. It doesn't have to be important to the world. This is to give you credit for what you've already accomplished. So, on my first list I made, one was that I found a wife. I was pretty proud of that, right? Got married, have 3 kids, proud of that. Bachelor's degree, commissioned officer in the military, Ambassador Diamond, and it works. Earned over $500,000 in 1 year, and have been able to give away more than $100,000 in 1 year. So those are just a couple ideas. It doesn't have to be at least 5. You might have 10. So if you have 10, go ahead and write down 10. But just whatever comes to mind, whatever you're proud of, just write those down. We'll take like a minute and do this. All right, you guys keep doing that. Keep writing those down, and I'm going to talk here a little bit. So, one of the things that you want to do, and I'll give you some examples of a list that I made years ago. And this is a little bit of a stretch at first, and you have to really, for some of you, smoke might start coming out of your ear. I think smoke almost started coming out of my ears the first time I did this, right? But you want to think about the different things that you want to accomplish over the next 10 years, okay? And not just business goal. It could be business goal. It could be a health goal. It could be travel goals. It could be financial, spiritual. It could be a giving goal. It could be an owning goal. So I'll give you some examples just to kind of get the juices flowing. And you don't want to really think too much about this. I mean, you're looking at write down 50 things, and we'll worry about later if this is going to be something you want to do in the next month, the next year, the next 10 years, right? But just anything that comes to mind. And, it might seem ridiculous. Like you might have the thought, I want to be a senator in Congress. And you're like, well, I'm never going to do that. But where'd that thought come from? Just write it down. This isn't that you're going to accomplish every single one of these 50, but it's just to get your brain thinking, like how things that get you excited, right? Things that you could get passionate about. So I'll give you some examples. And going through this list now, some of these won't be on my new list I'm going to make today, but it was just the list I made that day. So have a house in Alaska, Florida, and Tennessee. So that's one that I still want to have a rental in Alaska and a rental in Florida, and we have a house in Tennessee already. So visit Israel. I'm supposed to do that next year. That's on the list. Model marriage. Write 2 books, and I've done that one. Record 2 albums. Have $1 million in investments. Have $1 million in real estate. Visit Hawaii. Walk with my boys down the Grand Canyon, right? Go hiking with that keeps me in shape, right? That's like a health goal, because when I look at that and read that, I'm like, oh my gosh, if I'm going to walk with my boys down the Grand Canyon, I have to be in shape enough to be able to do the Grand Canyon. So that helps keep me on track with health. So sometimes might not be a specific health goal, but it might be do something 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. Because my son's 8. So it's going to be at least another 7-8 years before we will hike together down the Grand Canyon. Don't tell Jeree this one, but I fly Jeree in a helicopter somewhere for an anniversary. And then another one was like spend at least $25,000 on her for the anniversary. So get in a helicopter, fly somewhere, like a 20-year anniversary. And so that's a goal that I wrote down. Missions trip with each child. I've done one with my son, but so I want to do a missions trip with my daughter and a missions trip with my other son. Own a recording studio, own a record label, invest heavily into eradicating sex trafficking, visit Australia, horses for Jeree and Ava. We've done that. We got that one done. Personal chef. We're working on that one for this next year. Jungle Amazon safari, right? Some of you might want to do a jungle Amazon safari. I don't know. A nice, unique muscle sports car that gets horrible gas mileage. Just want a big, strong car, right? Help 50 people earn 6 figures. And that number now is 100. When I help 100 people earn 6 figures. Make-A-Wish Foundation, where we do the whole trip for somebody. Learn how to fly a plane or a helicopter. Jam with Bon Jovi. Oh, that would be so fun. Just want to jam for an hour with Bon Jovi. That's on my list. Stay at a hotel room that's underwater. You guys ever seen those where you go down into the thing and you're underwater and the floor is like glass and the walls are glass and you see the fish and stuff swimming around? I want to stay in one of those places. Own an RV. Skydiving with Gavin. Read 100 new books by 2025. Top 10, it works, income earner. Business for each child to manage. This is kind of a silly one I wrote down. Have 5,000 people wish me happy birthday on Facebook. Right? That'd be good. Own 50 guns. I don't know why I need 50 guns, but I guess the zombie apocalypse comes, right? You need 50 guns, right? Climb Mount Rainier, which is a 14,000-foot mountain, and I've got plans in the works to do that this year. Sing in front of 5,000 people. Constantly disciple others and be discipled. So all these different types of things, right? So it's just to get the juices flowing. And I'll show you what we're doing out here. We have a lot of different types of magazines. We're flipping through magazines because that gets the juices flowing too. The visuals, you might see something for the first time and go, ooh, I want to go there. I want to see what that's in that picture, or I want to do this, or I want to do that, or that quote sticks out. That's something that's important to me. And it just you begin to come alive with these ideas of what can change, right? So I was looking through one today, and just like, this is just a good health one. I never knew this before. I was looking through a magazine, and it said the ultimate de-ager. And that's going to go on my list this year because I want to live to be at least 101. I think the record in my family is like 99. So I want to, 99 years old, and then one for the Army and one for the Marine Corps. So 101 years, right? So the ultimate de-ager, a glimpse into the ways that getting and staying fit can help you beat back the aging process and even death. So if you're fit, so we might be thinking right now, I want to be fit because I want to look good. And that's somewhat of a motivator, but listen to these statistics. If you're fit, you're 44% less likely to die of cardiovascular disease. That's good. 46% less likely to die of cancer. 36% less likely to develop dementia, and 37% less likely to get lung disease, which kills 7% of Americans. So if you don't have enough reasons right now to get fit, this could be something that you put on your dream board. And now you're like, I don't feel like working out today, but let me go take a look at this again. Oh yeah, I remember I need to be fit because cardiovascular disease runs in my family or whatever, right? And I need to be fit because, and you just look at this and it gives you the energy to do the push-ups or the sit-ups or the crunches or, whatever your plan is for fitness. So this is something that will be going on mine just as a trigger and as a reminder for that. Or like the Grand Canyon thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't not be in shape because I got to stay in shape to the point where I can hike 9 miles down the Grand Canyon, you know. And last year I took my dad, he's 65, and we went and climbed a mountain. And it was like 4 miles up and 4 miles down, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But I mean, he's 65 and he did it. He trained up for it for 3 months and did it. So just things like that are helpful. I'm gonna take this out here for a little bit and just show you guys like some things. We have magazines, and if you're on here and you've got some pictures or some magazines or some things that you're excited about, that you're dreaming about, I want to hear from you guys too. I want this to be interactive, not just me doing all the talking. But let me go out here and you can say hello to some people, and we'll see what they have going on so far, because it's just going to be helpful for everyone. So that's my little guy over there. See the little head over there? And this is something I put on my wall. It was on my dream board last year. John Wooden, his Pyramid of Success. That's something that I was focusing on, and so it's on my wall that I can look at every day. His definition of success is peace of mind attained only through self-satisfaction and knowing you made the effort to do the best of which you're capable. I think that's where true success comes from. I don't think that's why money isn't everything, because some people have all the money in the world and then they kill themselves. So we already know that money's not everything. So what truly is success? And there's people that are so happy and they don't have a ton of money, right? So we know it's not just money, but success is peace of mind attained only through self-satisfaction and knowing you made the effort to do the best of which you're capable. So thought I'd throw that out there. But let me take you guys in here. So here are some ladies on the floor.
Hi.
Hi. Let me show them, babe, what you got so far. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but
Babe, can I cut this off with this one?
yeah, I don't care. Everybody say hi to Melissa.
Hi.
What you got going on here? Oh, cool.
Dream board fun.
Looks good. You have all these magazines and pictures, and that's Raven, everybody. Say hello.
Hello.
Over here we have Kara.
Hi, you guys. Hey. Hey, Amber. Hey, everyone.
Hey girl, what's up?
Hi. Hey, Stevie. Looking good with your purple hair. You looking gorgeous, girl. Hey. That's what I have so far.
Nice.
Staying power. Find your direction. Be inspired.
Kara, I almost totally bought that same exact poster this morning, but
Well,
I
you know,
didn't.
my husband bought it for me, so.
Look at that. That's cute.
How to see the world without breaking the bank. That is something I'd like to do more of, travel. So, but yeah, an outdoor patio space. I'd like to have that. I know Jen Swavely has one, and she kind of inspired me to have something like that. But yeah, just whatever you want to dream for the new year.
And a boat.
Yes,
This boat.
I want a boat so I can sail away.
So good. So we have just different, like, this is a quote book. There's some really good quotes in here. You know, some different magazines. So just get some magazines. I got some success magazines and some money magazines and some car magazines, right? What else do we have? Some decorating stuff, you know. They're right there. Sweet. I'll show you guys some stuff here too. Hey, hey. Everybody say hello to Glendo. Hi there. Hello, hello. We're doing goal setting dream board party.
I thought, how and what? Yes.
Say hi, Becca.
Oh, hi.
Go pom pom.
Chad, did you say to write down 50 things that you're
50.
dreaming of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, 50. And just any 50 that come to mind.
Okay.
So what do you give us a few examples of what you have so far?
I'm wanting to buy a house this coming year. Be able to pay off some debt and finish my semesters with as close to a 4.0 as possible.
Nice. Very, very cool. So do you have a number like for the debt? Like a specific number?
No, I don't have a number.
That's something to think about too, because what's great is, you could say, I want to pay $24,000 off next year in debt. And then you can break it down into bite-sized chunks, $2,000 a month or whatever. And then you're like, okay, if I want to do $2,000 a month, then I need to, I could pay $500 a week. And you could break it down into chunks and put it in the budget and all that. I just worked on our budget for the first 3 months of, I do a new budget like every quarter. And so I have the budget based off a base amount, and the budget goes in all that. And then everything above and over that gets paid extra on debt. And then if we go to a certain level, then we get, it kicks out rewards for the kids. And so everybody's engaged and everybody's involved in the goal setting and the budget. And my daughter's getting a horse for her birthday in March, so that's in there, and lots of cool stuff like that. But what I want to do, just for everyone to kind of know, let's go around a little bit and just see what kind of stuff you guys have. So Angela's in my top left corner here. So what do you have so far, Angela, on your list?
Just to do more self-development. And I know it kind of sounds selfish of me to say this, but I have to work on myself more before I can help anyone else. And I've always, ever since I've started this business, I couldn't understand why I would always see everyone else like already there at diamond or triple diamond, and that's where I want to be. But I think it has a lot to do with me and myself that, and my goal financially is really high, because I didn't get into this business for $500. Like my first goal was to make $5,300, and I have not hit nowhere near that, but I have that vision and I know that I'm going to be there. And when I first started this, I had no clue what goals were. I had no clue what building a dream board was. And I'm 44. I had no clue, but I'm getting there. So mainly it's just to be healthier mentally and physically. So that's one of my main ones.
Yeah. Well, that's really, really good. And, part of it is, and part of why we dream and is we have to understand that to have more, we have to become more. I mean, we can expect next year to be about the same as last year. So there has to be a component of change. Otherwise, we're going to kind of just be the hamster on the wheel spinning, and maybe we save a little more, maybe we spend a little money differently. But at the end of the day, we have to grow, and we have to learn, and we have to change. And that's what's going to that's the difference between people who accomplish their goals and people who just, which is real. It's over 80% that set New Year's resolutions and give up on them within 6 weeks. It's 80% because they don't have a plan. So having a dream and having a goal is the beginning, right? Writing it down, having it pinned to paper. I mean, it says, make the vision in Habakkuk 2:2, I think it is 2:2. Maybe.
Pretty quick.
It says, make the vision plain.
Not really.
And so that's an important part. Hold on one second. You got it.
I don't even know what they ever are.
Okay, there we go. So, the Bible says to make the vision plain on paper, and we know that failure to plan is planning to fail. And it's very, very important that we write down our goals, and we know, because we got to have that target. We got to know where we're headed, and then we have to have a plan to achieve it with a specific deadline, right? And you have these things. That's why you have your big goal over like right now we're just brainstorming next 10 years, because 10 years from now, I mean, so much can change. Like you could say, I've always wanted to, I don't know, own a yacht that can hold 20 people. And you're like, I'm never going to have that. But 10 years from now, you could have a yacht. You know, it's just things can happen and things can change and in a crazy degree. I mean, I know Jerry and I have shared our story over and over and over, but in our example, we're kind of an extreme example of what's possible to happen in 10 years. Because I went from sleeping on a friend's floor to, you know, making $50,000 in a month in 10 years. And it's ridiculous what's possible to do in 10 years. So even if you don't see yourself there yet, you know, it's just the idea is to get it all out of your mind, things that you are kind of passionate about and things that kind of get exciting, like going on a 7-day safari cruise that costs, I don't know, $7,000-$8,000 and visiting 10 islands or something might be something that's you've always wanted to do, but you just think you'll never be able to do it because of the money or whatever. But write it down anyway. And then once you get your 50 things, we'll go through and we'll identify which ones are 1-year goals, 5-year goals, 10-year goals, and then we'll break it down to focus on the 3 or 4 that you can get done this year and how to get laser focused on those. So, so just for now, just keep writing, you know, and I'm going to have some of you share and you might hear someone else share and that might spark something for you. Right. But, so just keep on writing and we'll continue to go around and see what some of you have written down already, what you're thinking about. So how about Stevie out in the UK? What you got down on your list so far, girl?
Hey, hang on. Let me walk away.
Okay.
Right here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, my kids are like watching a movie in the same room I was in. More so just like be able to travel because like we like being a military family, like we're so far away from everybody. And I just want to be able to like go and do the things I want to do, like go see family whenever I want. So that's like a huge thing on our list. Just get healthier, pay off debt, be able to help my grandma, make sure my grandma doesn't ever have to worry about money. She's always been the person to help us financially, so be able to help her. She's actually on my team now. But yeah, those are some of the bigger things on there. Be able to travel. My 8-year-old wants to go skydiving also. And he told me you can go skydiving in New Zealand when you're 7, so that's his goal.
Nice. Skydiving in New Zealand.
Yeah, you don't have to be 18. You can be 7.
Pretty cool. You can probably drink a beer in New Zealand and then go skydiving right after, right? Cool. So when you think about travel, where's a few of the places that you really, really want to go?
So I don't know if like everybody knows, like Corey and I were actually divorced for 4 years. So at that time, I was just like, I figured like I would never be traveling again. So I always wanted to go to Switzerland and then just like go skiing in the Alps or whatnot. And I always thought like that wasn't gonna be like a possibility. But now that we live here, it's actually pretty cheap to be able to go and do all those traveling things while we're here. It's just more so like being able to go back and forth to the States because I'm used to seeing my family and like my brother and my grandma like every 3 months. And being here, it's like, you know, a few $1,000s just for us to go back and forth. So basically, as funny as it sounds, back to the States.
Yeah.
At least for the next few years, because we'll be able to do a lot of traveling around other countries for pretty cheap. But
yeah, a lot of people don't realize like the size of, you know, out where you're at. Like it's almost like countries over there are almost the size of states in the United States. Yeah. You can travel. Like I was stationed in Germany for a while and we would drive 6 hours and be in Paris, you know, France, or drive 6 hours the other direction and be in a whole other place. And so there's just so many awesome things to see there. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and for some of you on here, you might have never even thought about going out of the United States yet. But what I can tell you is once you get a taste of it, not for everyone, but it's pretty exciting. It's a whole nother world. Like when I first went to Germany and I just got to go visit like my first castle. And then I realized almost every city is like built around a castle and there's so much history and there's just so much culture in the food. I mean, you can't get you can't eat a schnitzel in the U.S. and it just doesn't compare when you're in Europe and in Germany. And there's just delicious, some of the best food I've ever had. So you've probably eaten a lot of good stuff over there, huh?
I am super picky. If I had to live in a country without a U.S. commissary, I wouldn't be able to do it. I don't like almost any food here.
Yeah.
No.
You're not like let's try it. I don't know what that is, but let me just give it a taste.
If someone else has it, I will probably try it, but I'll never order it for myself to try it because I probably won't like it.
Yeah. I've tried some crazy stuff and all kinds of. I'm not going to tell you all what it was because he might be sick today. But I've tried some crazy stuff. Thanks, Stevie, for sharing.
Thanks.
How about Rachel Miller? What's going on, Rachel?
Hi.
Hi. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. So, what are some of what's going down on your list?
Well, I'm actually looking at the one that I did last year, and I have 30 pounds on here, and I lost 70.
Dang.
I have Go Double Diamond, and I did. I had Meet Mark, Pam, and Mike. I met Mark, and I met Mike. I never met Pam. Stop. Relax. Okay. And then I said I was going to take my family on a vacation, and I did. I did go debt free. So like most of the ones that I did, I pretty much checked off. So I'm like really excited about that. But now like, okay, so I said I was going to have abs. I didn't get the abs. So I got to go back for that. I actually had that I was going to fall in love, and I haven't done that yet. So that was like a big one for me. And it's funny because like the things that I have checked off are things that I totally could control. So putting a lot of more, I have on here, it says trust in God, give thanks for the year of breakthrough. And I did a lot of trusting in God in 2017 or 2018. And I told myself that I would trust him for everything that I could and couldn't control. And I feel like I only trusted him for the shit that I could control and not the stuff that I couldn't. So that's definitely something that I'm going to be working on and putting on, but definitely falling in love. I have to lose another 20 pounds that I want. Abs. I want to buy a house and just be independent. I want an average of, I keep saying that I want triple diamond, but I want the income. I don't want the label. So I want 10,000 a month. And this is all in the next year. But I want at least a $50,000 to $70,000 savings. I want to get closer to God. I want to travel to Ireland and Bora Bora. Like those are the two places that I've always wanted to go. I think Bora Bora is so pretty. I want to start a savings for Larea. Meet Pam. Get a little Frenchie bulldog. I think they're the cutest thing. And I want to like save money for one day when I do get married so that I can have the wedding that I want and not the wedding that I can afford.
Awesome. Those are some very specific, very, very good goals.
Well, I learned here that you definitely have to put a number and get specific on what you want to make it happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree. Very, very cool. Well, thank you for sharing all that.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Let me go over here to Amber Garcia. Amber probably dreamed one day of living on an island, and now she does. So if you want to know what island living life is like, just talk to Amber because she lives on an island. I know it's not the easiest for travel when you have to take a ferry and a canoe, and I don't know.
A canoe.
So how are you doing today, Amber?
Good. I was doing kind of the same thing as Rachel and going over my goals from last year. And I'll show you guys kind of, let's see if I can pull this around. So this was kind of the dream board I had hanging. So I have written goals and then different various pictures. Owen, stop. And then the family and I had written some big goals down. So we're excited because the kids and I were just talking about all the ones we get to scratch off. And so like I paid off this huge bakery loan that I had from years ago from when I decided to open up my own bakery that didn't succeed. But anyways, so I paid that off. So we get to scratch that off. Let me see, I'll turn it back around. We went to Bullwinkle's. It's kind of like a family fun center. Yeah, okay. We paid off at least one credit card, so we get to scratch that off. We did get a new computer for Christmas. So we're gonna half scratch it because it's not the apple I want. We did go on more snow trips. And then we did get half of our passports, which is exciting. The kids got more toys. That was theirs. And then our exciting thing is in April, we get to go on an airplane ride and go to Disneyland. So that's been on our dream board since I started with the company. So, oh gosh, I think it'll be 4 or 5 years in January. So that's exciting that we get to scratch that big thing off that's been on there for a long time. So really excited. No, let's not scratch it yet until we go. They're excited to scratch them off.
To see what Jemiah did. Jemiah made
Jemiah made a dream board.
Look, come here and stand in here so they can see your cuteness. Oh, this is not. Here, let's turn it this way. Right here. Now they can see you. All right, you guys. I want you to see the dream board that this little nugget made. Aww. Leaders are learners. What? Nothing can stop me. Show leadership. The root of all failure is broken focus. Trust God. Oh, this is so backwards. She's got pictures of a nice house on there. And then, what does this one say? It's not the facts, fears, and folks you face, but how you face the facts, fears, and folks. Attitude is everything. So,
Good job, baby.
Aww. She's 9 years old. Dream with your kids. She did this all on her own. Like, she just sat here and cut this out and did it all on her own.
Good job, baby.
Awesome. Train them up when they're young. You'll have some kids that's all they know. All they know is setting goals, having dreams, and making it come true. So good stuff. So here's what we've been working on so far. This one it's got time is more valuable than money. You can always get more money. Harness your power to empower others. Faith, family, finances, fitness. It takes guts and heart. Pick joy. CEOs, celebrities, humanitarians, entrepreneurs, leaders, legends, world changers. Those are people I want in my world. Iron sharpens iron. Invest. You're not a success until you raise up a successor. Over here, I've got some little sports car I'm going to have by the end of this year, or by the end of 2019. We have 2 cars, and I love our cars because they're paid off.
You have like 4 huge boxes out here.
I don't know. I'll look in a little bit.
Brazilians, did you order more books because they're heavier than crap?
Probably books. Yeah, probably books. So this is a you know how people have like generators for their houses? Well, this is a solar generator. So even if you don't need gas, it's pretty expensive, but I like to collect survival stuff. So that's something I'm going to have this year. And mountain stuff, climbing a mountain this year. A buddy of mine, which means I have to train a lot because it's a 14,000 foot in the snow and with all the crazy stuff. So creating 100 6-figure earners, that's probably the core of what we really want to get done this year. And it's all a work in progress. So anyway, let's go. I know Lindsay, let me see what is going on in the chat here. Lindsay said, hey, let's bring Lindsay on here. Lindsay, how are you doing today? Can you unmute yourself?
Hi, guys.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? I apologize. My house is super loud right now with a dog and a child. Hold on. Hey.
Hey.
How are you guys?
We are doing great. So tell me about the Spartan race. That sounds pretty cool.
So last year I did like a bunch of Tough Mudder races with my boyfriend, and I was it was the year prior. I was really into it. I did like 3 or 4 of them, inflatable races. They're like OCR, obstacle course racing. So he's really into Spartan races, and I've never had like the oomph to complete one. So it's really like on my list to be able to do a Spartan race. It's huge for me.
That is awesome. So buy current house. So are you renting Are you renting?
Yep.
You wanna buy
I'm
that?
renting. So I'm in the process of trying to fix my credit and pay off some debt and purchase the house that I'm in now. So that's super important for myself and my daughter.
There, I like the one I'm reading here too. That says more live videos. So that's something you
Yeah.
guys need to do.
That's huge for me. I've done one or two, but I really want to. The first two that I did, I ended up getting like 3 LCs just off of doing a live video. So I know it works. I just need to do it more.
I would say Christina Watts is probably the most consistent in the whole entire company on doing live videos, and she has 144,000 followers now on
Wow.
her Facebook page. And so when there's a special or a deal, she can literally go on there and do a video, and she's had months where she's signed like 60, 70, 80 distributors for the full 99 price, and she has a lot of girls on her team doing the same thing too.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we know live videos are
Mm-hmm.
huge, and as far as Facebook and their algorithms and stuff, it's one of the best ways to get our information out there. So I love seeing that
Cool.
on there. Read daily. So do you have a certain amount, like a time limit, or?
I would like to read for at least an hour, like before bed, maybe. It's very, I work a full-time job, plus I do this, plus I am a single mom, and we have a new puppy, and very, very busy. But I would like to start really pushing myself to at least devote at least 30 minutes to an hour a day to read.
Yeah. I've got a buddy that he was an old roommate of mine, and he does what he calls 10 pages with Tim. He does a Facebook Live every day, and it's 10 pages that he read like that morning, and then he'll read his notes and share them. So he's been doing that for a long time. And just that in itself, that's a 300-page book,
Right.
a month, just 10 pages a day. So
I try. I read a page or two, and then I get distracted by other things. So I need to just stay focused.
Yep. Very cool. So conference next year, skydiving.
Yeah.
Nice. Travel to an island. What island do you want to go to?
I'm not sure yet. I just want to get out. I just want to get out of this country. I want to try something different. I've never really had the opportunity to travel anywhere besides like Florida. So I really want to go somewhere different. Not sure where yet though.
You just gotta go visit Amber Garcia. She lives on an island.
Hey, there you go. It's a place to go.
We can bring her boat and come pick you up. It's so funny when I talk to Amber, because I'll be like, how are you getting to wherever? And she's like, well, I've got to drive to here, and I've got to get on a ferry boat to here, and then I got to take a taxi or whatever to here, and then go down. Like, geez, man.
It's like almost, I swear it's like almost 24 hours.
Yeah.
Just to get to like the conference because of the ferries and everything. But it's worth it.
Yeah, it's like that's an adventure in itself, just the travel, doing all that. Very cool. So and I just read, Lindsay, that you said, so it's best for me not to speak at this moment.
But I'm good now. My house is quiet for right this second as my daughter is giving me the stare. She's ready to go.
Nice. Well, congratulations on going executive.
Thank you.
What do you have left to do for Ruby?
I have to do a little charting today with Jess. I don't think it's much more volume, but I'm hoping. My goal is in the next 2 days. That's really my push. So I'm trying.
Nice. Well, I have special guest here in the room, rock star extraordinaire, Kara Morris.
Hi.
So, Kara, will you just share with them a little bit about like what's on your mind for 2019 and where you and your business and your family's headed this year?
Well, 2019 is the year of just letting go of fear, letting go of self-doubt, which is something that I'm very guilty of, which is the reason why I left in the first place. But really just working on personal growth. I feel like that's so important in order to become a leader, to be a better leader for your team and for everyone. You need to, be able to lead yourself and believe in yourself. And you can't instill belief in others if you don't instill belief in yourself. And I've learned that you can't transfer that. It's kind of fake, and people know when you're not being real. They know when you're trying to cover things up, but really just traveling. I've got I think it's like $9,000 or $10,000 left on my car to pay off. I want to pay my car off, and my daughter starts kindergarten next year. So I got to start preparing myself for
whatever may come for that. But just owning more of my own time. I mean, I've enjoyed not having to work these last few months. It's been nice just being off and spending more time, coming on, random days to come hang out with people. I've never known that. I've always worked full time. But just, I don't know, just getting out of debt. I know that I have student loans to pay. I'm going to start with my car first and then go the smallest amount of debt and then work my way up. I want to be debt free next year. And then of course my hairy, scary goal is to be triple diamond by the end of next year. So that's kind of where I'm headed. Gonna try, you never know. You just got to put in the work. What I've learned is every day, if you do the daily tasks to build your business, then nothing can go wrong. And if you're doing something every day, then your business will flourish regardless if you're enrolling people, you're planting seeds. And we all know that that's the most important part is planting seeds, because once you start planting those seeds, they will bloom and they will harvest, and you're going to be like, holy cow, this is awesome. And it's just, that's kind of how that works. So you guys put your dreams down, look at them every day, write them on your mirror, whatever your next goal is. Get up in the morning, look at yourself in the mirror, say 5 positive things about yourself, look at your goal, and then just go about your day and know that every day that that's what you're going to push for. And then when you achieve that goal, you erase it and start fresh and start with a new goal. So that's what's worked for me this time around. So go for it, you guys. The sky's the limit, and we are the only ones holding ourselves back. So let that go. Once you let your insecurities and your fears go, you can achieve whatever you want. Yes, so rock on 2019. Boom, mic drop.
Dropping the mics up in here. That's so good. One other thing I was just thinking about too, because we've got a page and it works. It's Triple Diamonds and Above page. And there's a great feed. I want to read some of these comments to you guys because I think this will be helpful. It says, we have our team-wide dream board parties tomorrow night. I've been praying and visualizing and journaling. I have my word for the year, but I was wondering if anyone picks a scripture verse for the year too. I never have, but feel like this year I will. So a couple things that Dree and I have implemented over the last few years is to have like a word. Like for 2007 or 18, our word was abundance. For 2017, our word was alignment, right? And for 2019, our words, because I couldn't just say one word, but this year it's going to be big faith, okay? So if there's a word that you just feel like is stirring up in your heart that is going to kind of be the centerpiece of your year, 2019, like one girl in here said surrender. I thought that was so good. That was so good because I remember years ago where I didn't have a word yet, but that would have been my word that year because it was just a year of surrendering and understanding that there's only so far I can do, only so much I can do on my own, and to be able to continue to walk through that. But so then once you have your word, you want to have some phrases or some things to lock that in and that you can stand on right through the year. So I'll give you a couple of verses that I'm standing on for big faith. Okay. So first of all, the first one's Romans 10:17. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. So what that reminds me of is that I have to stay in the word. If I'm going to build my faith and if I'm going to continue to have faith, because there's a daily battle between faith and fear, right? And if we're not growing our faith by default, our faith's getting smaller and our fear's getting bigger. Okay, so I have to understand that. And that's one thing that drives me and motivates me to stay in the word and to continue to remind myself of the promises, God's promises in the Bible, because as I stand on those promises, I'm able to remind myself of the promises, and faith gets bigger. Faith rises up, right? And as faith rises up, fear gets smaller. And that's why I can look at a certain situation, and if I've got big faith, then I have confidence in that. I have confidence that God's going to do this and this because I know what the truths are, versus, if I don't read my Bible for weeks and months, then my fear by default gets very, very big. So it's really important. And then here's some awesome scriptures. So that's the kind of the foundational one, Romans 10:17. Matthew 7:7 says, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. Those are some strong promises. So I can ask in boldness for God to do things in my life. And as I seek for truths and as I seek for passion, I'm looking for whatever, I'll find it, and when knock, the door will be open. For everyone who asks receives, the one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks, the door will be opened. Which one of you, if your son asks for bread, will give him a stone? So, if we're asking God for good things, he's not going to give us bad things. It's just not the way a good father does things. So here's another one. Joshua 1:8, keep this book of the law, which is the Bible, right? Always on your lips. Meditate on it day and night, which means read it day and night and think about the words in it, so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful. So the qualification, according to this verse, is if I read the Bible and I meditate on the Bible, I'm going to be prosperous and successful. And so that's a promise, right? John 14:14 says, you may ask me for anything in my name and I will do it. So another strong verse, some past verses I've stood on is Matthew 6:33 is a good one. Seek first the kingdom of God, right? And all these other things will be added. 2 Timothy 1:7 talks about how we were not given a spirit of fear, but a spirit of sound mind and confidence. Philippians 4:6-7 talks about to not be worried. It says, do not be anxious about anything. And last time I checked anything, that meant anything. So it meant there's nothing that I should be anxious or worried about. So do not be anxious about anything, but in all things, through prayer and petition with thanksgiving. So that says, don't just pray the prayer, but believe it has already been done, right? Because when we pray, we're basically remembering what the truths are, remembering what the promises are. We're standing on those promises, and we're being thankful already for that getting ready to happen in our life, because we know who God is. We know God loves, and we know God wants, we can trust him, and he wants what's best for us, and he loves us. So of course he's going to come through, because he always comes through. So, and then it says, when we do those things, the peace of God that surpasses all understanding will guard our hearts and minds in Christ Jesus too. So just promise. There's over 3,000 promises in the Bible, and all we got to do is find them and come into agreement with God's word and what it says. So that's what Dree and I are doing this year for Big Faith. We're going to have, our faith is going to rise up higher than it's ever been, because we are going to stand on the promises and what God has already said that he would do. And if he'll do it for one person, he'll do it for anyone, because he's not a respecter of persons. We don't have to have some kind of achievements in our past to be usable, right? God, that's why he used the people he used in the Bible. He used the worst of the worst. I mean, Paul murdered Christians for years. You would think that he wouldn't be usable, right? But God used him to write half the New Testament. So used him to do great things. Peter said, I don't know Jesus 3 times. You'd think that was his chance. He blew it, right? 3 strikes and you're out. Well, maybe we would think 3 strikes and you're out, but he used Peter to do amazing things, all through the Bible. His own brother James didn't even believe in him, until after Jesus died. He didn't believe that he was who he said he was. He thought he was lying to him. Didn't believe until after the resurrection. So, just another example, he still used him. So no matter what you've done, no matter what I've done, because I've done a lot of bad things back in the day, no matter what any of us have done, we're still usable. And God loves to turn people's messes into their message. And so he's wanting to turn yours into your message too. And you're going to go through tests. You're going to go through tests. That's what becomes part of the testimony. So think of not just have the dream board, have the goals, have the dream board.
Do you have Craig Hendricks information in there? I got to send it to Raven right now. She needs it.
Yeah, it's somewhere
What's
there.
it under?
Here, let me find it, because I have to find it a weird way.
This is their round. You can go in the back.
You can go look.
Sure. Look around.
I said, did you remember tonight? And Jackie said, yeah.
All right, Craig Hendricks. Yeah, so there's this, just you can do a screenshot of that or whatever. So here's what's going to help you with actually making what's in your head right now and what you want become a reality. So you're going to have written it down. You're going to have a dream board that has the visuals and has the phrases and things that are going to help you. You're going to have your power word for 2019, and you're going to have some scripture, to back that up. And all those things are and you want to have that around where you're going to see it and be reminded of it. And those are things that are going to help you. And as you're going through and you're making this list of 50, right? The next thing to do after you have your list of 50 is you're just going to go through and say, is this something you see yourself doing this next year, or in 5 years, or in 10 years? Okay. You want to identify that. And when you're doing the 50,000, just read right from the book, list at least 50 items, write as fast as you can. Don't give any detailed thought to it. Just let your mind run free. This is not what you think you can get. This is what you want. If it all fell into place and you could have everything you wanted in the next 10 years, what would you take? Put the items one under the other. For example, places to go, investments to make, education for yourself, for your children, personal things, business things, everything, all the things we've been talking about. Some of these things need to be tomorrow, and some of these things need to be this year, and some need to be next year, and then 10 years. So write down all those. And then here's the next step. You don't have to do all this right now, but just kind of know the steps. So when you're in your free time that you can get that done. So look at each number, look at each item you've numbered with a 1 next, all right? Because you're going to have a 1 next to it, a 5, or a 10. And select the 3 most important. So now you want to take from your 50 and you want to pinpoint to the 3 most important things to you to get done in the next year, right? Identify them in some way in order to make a new list of the 3 most important 1-year goals. Circle them or put a star next to them. So identify your 3 most important 1-year goals. Now that you've picked the 3 most important goals, why? It's a huge part right here. Why are those 3 goals the most important to you? What are they going to do for you? What will they accomplish? Why did you pick those goals? Write 3 or 4 sentences, and you want to develop that why. Those 3 things are important, because when the why gets stronger, the how gets easier, right? When the why gets stronger, the how gets easier. When people don't have strong, powerful goals, the how is almost impossible. The how is too difficult without the pull of the why. Often we think, how can I ever accomplish this? But your how gets easier and easier when the why gets bigger and bigger. The why, I needed to get out of the military. That was the goal, right? Goal, get out of the military. Why? Why? Because my family was getting the leftovers and I couldn't take it anymore. The why was so strong, the how got so easy. Jury and I just said, we want to get out of the military, and we don't want to have to sell our home and sell our stuff and go back to living in our $500 a month, rental in our grandparents' house. We wanted to maintain our style of living. So how came really easy. The how was we have It Works, and we're gonna double, triple, quadruple, whatever my military income, and we did that in 101 days, and I've never gone back. So the how gets real easy when the why is strong. Just like you guys have probably heard me say this a million times, but if I took your kids and your favorite aunt, your favorite grandma, whoever, I took them away from you, or I didn't do it because I wouldn't do that. I'm a nice guy. Some crazy person took them away, and you got a call or you got a letter or you got something, and it said, you're never going to see them again unless you complete these 3 goals that you want in the next year. Your why would be so strong. It wouldn't be a matter of if. It'd be a matter of, are you going to do it in a month? Are you going to do it in 3 months? Are you going to take the whole year, right? It wouldn't be like, is there any question that I'm going to get this done so that I can see my spouse or my kids or my grandma again? None of you would have any. I would bet my whole entire check. I'd bet a whole entire month's pay on any of you on here right now, knowing that you would get it done because it would be important enough. So that's what it really boils down to. The ones that accomplish the goals, it was just more important for them to accomplish their goals than the ones that don't accomplish their goals. I mean, when you cut through all the fluff, there's I don't know, millions of people are going to say they want to lose 25 pounds, right? We all know anybody can lose 25 pounds. The ones that actually do it, they're going to do it because it was more important to them to do it than it was to anyone else. That's the only difference. It doesn't take any great skill, doesn't take any great level of motivation. It just takes a strong why. And the reasons to do it have to be stronger than the excuses not to. And when you peel back the fluff, that's the difference between successful and unsuccessful is successful people are willing to do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do, right? That's it. That's the only, it's all with It Works. It's all messages and phone calls and conversations and sorting through and finding the ones that work and pouring into them and doing your best to help people and doing your best to be motivated yourself. And it's these things that anybody can do. It's not like, oh, you leaving?
Yeah, we're leaving.
All right, we'll see you later. It's not slam dunking a basketball. It's not winning American Idol. I mean, those things take talent, right? It Works doesn't really take any talent. It just takes effort and consistency and grit and bouncing back, when you're frustrated by people, which that's just what people do. People frustrate us. And so it's bouncing back, and it's having that, developing that high grit IQ. It's being consistent, persistent, and those things. And that's how you will get there. I think she'll be on here in a minute. I'll text her and see. But Angela Carter, you have a question. What's your question?
Okay, so if you have like really good, strong work ethics, like I have really strong work ethics. Like I will work a 9 to 5 job. Like I will, just like last week, I pulled over 99 hours in 1 week just working there. I love doing what I do, but I still want my time. How can I convert? Hold on just a second, sweetheart. You're going on vacation? Yeah. Okay. Can you give Nani just 1 second? What my biggest problem is converting that over into my business. Mm-hmm. Like I try so hard. I hear this all the time about employee mindset. I'm going to get there. I'm going to still get there. I don't know really what's stopping me. I mean, I say it all the time. It's unbelief, it's this, it's fear, it's whatever. So I work on those things, but something is holding me back, and I don't know what it is. Like, I want this so bad, sometimes more than I can breathe, but I'm not doing something. There's something that I'm not doing. And I don't know. Like, how can I convert that over to my own business, that work ethic?
Well, here's a phrase you may or may not ever heard of. It's called self-imposed limitations, right? Self-imposed limitations. And all that really boils down to is mindset. And that's why personal development is so important, because you have to see yourself in a new way. You have to see yourself as a CEO of a major corporation. And you have to get around people that see themselves that way too. There's philosophies. So there's a lot of philosophies that I used to have that I don't have anymore, right? I used to think things were too expensive, when the truth is they're not too expensive. I just can't afford them. Or I used to think my job doesn't pay enough, which wasn't true, because there's people at my job or at my work that got paid way more than me. It was just, they just didn't pay me enough, right? Because I had to change. I had to change my skill set. That's why in the corporate world, some people get paid, lower level, and some people get paid higher level. It's the amount of value that we bring to the marketplace. It has nothing to do with our value as a person. Like my value, your value, all of our value as siblings and as parents and as, all that kind of stuff, we could be really, really high, but we could be getting paid a little bit with It Works because of the amount of value we're bringing to the marketplace. We just have to bring more value to the marketplace. And at the end of the day, that means goods have to be sold. That means people have to be signing up as customers. People have to be signing up with distributors. And so it all becomes the method and the method of delivery, right? And how we do it. And there's things that are involved with that. And that's why mindset is important. That's why we have to do personal development, because we always say we have to become more to have more. And what we're really saying is we have to grow our level of leadership. We have to become more attractive, because as we become more attractive, people are going to want to join us. Have you ever thought about, like, let's just say you wanted to start a church. The average church in America has like less than 50 people. Like if you build a church of over 200, you're doing really, really well. Once you get to like 600, you're doing great. And once you get to like 1,000, you're basically a mega church. You're a very, very small percentage. So what's the difference between a church that has, 50 and a church that has 100 and a church that has 200, a church that has 1,000, right? It really boils down to leadership. And when you boil leadership down to one word, it's influence. Leadership is influence. So you have to just find ways to increase your influence. And a lot of that is going to be, the books that we read. And because you get that new idea or a new philosophy, like a philosophy for me now is profits are better than wages. Because if I can spend the same time working a job and earning an hourly wage, now I'm trading time for money, right? So profits are better, because when you have profits, you're getting the same result of income into your family, but it doesn't take you working for over and ever and ever and ever and ever, because now you're able to earn profits, right? And so profits, if you're starting at a very, very low level, that's what's great about capitalism in America. They taught these to the Russians, and the Russians got excited about this idea that I could go and offer someone to mow their yard for $2. say, hey, I'll come mow your yard for $2, right? And they're like, okay, yeah, a lot of people would pay you $2 to mow their yard. But what if I can hire someone else and give them $1 and charge $3? So now I have this employee and I'm paying him $1 every time he mows the yard, but then I get $2 because I'm the one setting the contracts up. Now that's profits. Now you're able to make profits. And so a lot of it is just rewiring our mind, because I know I had to. I know I had to rewire my mind and just look at things differently. So if you go, one of the best places to start, I would say, is if you go online and put Jim Rohn, building your network marketing business. There's a 1-hour talk that he does, and he talks about a lot of these philosophies, and it's just changing our mind a little bit and understanding that it's not that difficult. It's just approaching life in a new way as an entrepreneur, right? And understanding that since I've been alive, about 90% of the population has worked for the other 10%. And so we're given the skills in school and in college to become a good employee, to get a good hourly wage, but we have to learn new information to become part of the 10%. To become an entrepreneur, we have to learn the new information. So books like Think and Grow Rich are really good. How to Win Friends and Influence People, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, High Performance Habits, anything John Maxwell, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. These are all foundational, amazing instruction manuals, right, for being a leader and for being a business owner. And anything like that is helpful. That Girl Wash Your Face, that's really helpful, because a lot of it boils down to, that's a good one. A lot of it boils down to just our own, how we see ourselves and where our mindset's at and where our confidence is at. You know, and I'll tell you, out of all the successful people in It Works that I know, everybody is teachable, everybody is willing to work, and everybody is passionate. And those are the 3 things. And to grow all of those things, we have to grow our own belief, right? We have to have a strong belief in the company, or otherwise there's 100 companies. So why are you with It Works? Someone can come along and take you away to some other company because they'll say, oh, this one's better. Well, you got to know why you like It Works, why you're in It Works. Jerry and I are in It Works because we love the products. We love the integrity. We love the character. We love the owners. We trust them. They're like family. And we're loyal. And so that's why we're grounded with this company. I love the industry because I see people who, don't have college degrees making 6 figures. I see wives of doctors and lawyers that are making more money than their husbands in the industry. And so I know the industry works. It's an incredible industry, right? I know the products work. I mean, I take collagen every day, immunity every day, the greens every day. I still like to drink the energy drinks that It Works has, protein powder, greens chews. I mean, I do these, like the cleanser gel, I use it every time I take a shower. I use all kinds of these products, and I'll use them forever if I made money from using them or not. So, and then the self-belief is the most important piece.
Okay.
Self-belief is huge.
So I'll wrap it tonight. Otherwise, you can get white. Off the paper.
There we go. So that's another huge factor. And it's a process to put it all together. Kind of like I was sharing earlier. If you're not building your faith, by default, your faith's getting smaller. That means your fear is getting bigger, right? There's always this battle. There's a battle between sickness and in health, right? We're healthy, but it's like we're around germs, and germs are looking for a crack in our health plan. It's looking for a way in. It's like darkness and light. It's in conflict with each other. It's like death is coming after us and trying to end our life prematurely, through our health so we have to figure out ways to be healthy and so that we can live longer. So when I think of every day there's a battle between our reasons and our excuses. We have reasons to do it. There's lots of reasons to roll out of bed, and then there's excuses to roll over in bed, right? It kind of starts there, right? When the alarm clock goes off, do I get up or do I snooze it a few times, right? Then you get up. Okay, health's important, but is it important enough where I'm going to go to the gym today or I'm going to blow the gym off? And that's when we work a job and they're like, be here or you're fired, we know there's consequences. And so we're going to show up so we don't get fired, because if we get fired, we have no money, we can't pay the bills, so it's just not an option. The challenge is when you're self-employed, you get to be your own boss, and you can take it easy on yourself or you can be hard on yourself. And so one tip for that would be get a good planner for 2019 and carefully consider what goes in your planner. And then once it's in your planner, it's going to happen. Like it's going to just tell yourself, if it gets in my planner, I don't care how I feel. I'm going to do the appointment. I'm going to get on the Zoom. I'm going to do the call regardless how I feel. Because don't you go to work no matter how you feel? Right? You feel like crap, go work anyway. So why wouldn't you do that same thing? And you got to think about yourself building. And I know you said you're not in this for 500, you're in this for 5,000. So you got to think about yourself building a 6-figure income with It Works and how to approach that, and act as if you paid $9,900 or $99,000 to get started in It Works, and not just $99, because it's no big deal. You throw away $99 is not a big deal. If you're going to throw away 10 grand, that'd be a bigger deal, or 100 grand be a bigger deal. So that'll be help. But let me, I'm going to stop this recording part right here.